Hi friends, welcome in or welcome back. This is my March no buy update. If you didn't know, I'm doing a full no buy, low buy year for 2026. And every month I am sitting down telling you what I bought, why I got something, and how it felt. Because I have done no buys in the past, but I have never done an entire year. And for me, I am determining it a no buy with certain categories and specific items that I am allowed to buy. So you can go to my full no buy video, which I will link here, and you can see all the categories and how I'm doing it. March taught me something that I didn't expect. Turns out, if I do not define the gray areas, then I will justify spending more than I mean to. This month, the gray areas got me because what I bought in March was not all random, like impulse buys. Some of it made total sense and some of it clearly did not. But there were certain items in there that I realized I didn't actually have a plan for yet. So I need better rules going into quarter two. So for a quick refresher, in case you don't know what that means, I am doing this on a quarterly basis where I set rules for quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4 respectively. Because I don't know who I am 3 quarters down the line. I don't know what my needs will be, what my family situation will be. I don't want to have to set rigid rules that make it really hard to follow through. I, on this channel, especially and in my coaching, am all about setting up systems that work for your life, that work with real life. And my real life doesn't know what quarter 4 looks like yet. So quarter 1, these were the specific rules. There was no clothing. There was no new gear. There was no house stuff until I finished all my decluttering. And everything else had to be run through a contentment filter. If I wanted to buy it, I have to ask myself, does this help me on my journey to living a more intentional life and finding contentment? If it does, it was okay. Otherwise, not a necessity. My goal with this no buy isn't perfection, and I hope that in sharing these monthly updates with you, you see that I'm not doing it perfect, but I am trying, and the goal will always be progress. I'm paying better attention to my habits. I'm building trust in myself that I don't have to just impulse purchase things. And I'm getting more honest about what I'm bringing into my life, what I honestly want surrounding me. So, what did I actually buy? The first thing I bought was a new bag. And I know everyone's probably thinking, everybody has too many bags already. But this was a very strategic purchase, and I ran it through my contentment filter, and it was okay. It was also less than $50. But basically, we're in a life season where we no longer need the huge diaper bag that holds all the things. We now have an adventure bag that has the snacks, the coloring books, the changes of clothes for long days. But for my daily, just day-to-day outings where the kids and I hop in the car to go run an errand, or we're just going out for coffee quick and then coming home, I don't need to be schlepping around this massive bag. So I did buy a smaller bag that can fit the essentials, diapers, wipes, my son's EpiPens, my wallet, and my phone. And that's pretty much it. This is a practical life purchase for me because it's actually reducing friction in my life. It's easier to grab that and to know that the adventure bag is ready to go for those big days instead. This is the kind of purchase I want to be making, a purchase that supports my real life. So what was the unnecessary purchase? Well, I also purchased a sweatshirt. I didn't need it. I just decluttered so many sweatshirts. And if you are here from the last video, then you know I said next week we'll be doing my declutter half your wardrobe video. It is still coming. It is over 45 minutes long and taking me so long to edit, but I did finish that. And so that will hopefully be coming very soon. This video is popping in just in between. So hit subscribe if you want to see me declutter half of my wardrobe. But I did just declutter. And then marketing got me. This oversized, beautiful green, like acid wash type sweatshirt says redeemed on the back. Marketing got me. It was unnecessary. It is one of my categories that I was not allowed to purchase in, and I did it. I have a feeling part of it was because I just decluttered all my sweatshirts. And I don't have very many oversized sweatshirts left because they're no longer soft. They're very old. They had holes, or I never reached for them. I potentially saw a gap and the marketing came in at just the perfect time. It broke my rules. It was unnecessary. And then there were the necessary normal life spending that I talked about in my full video, where I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and we have a lot of birthdays because there's 13 children that I have to buy for. So I did end up having to purchase a March niece birthday present and an April niece birthday present. But again, those are allowed because I set those in early as something that I was fully expecting to have to purchase. On top of that, I bought shampoo for our hard water because we have a well. I'm seeing that as a necessity because it's been probably like a year since I finished my last one, and I have noticed in my hair that the hard water buildup is happening, even though I have a different clarifying shampoo. So long story short, I went back to the tried and true shampoo that always works for my hard water. And I'm super excited because I already used it once and my hair feels so much cleaner than it has. So necessity. And then on top of that, tomorrow is actually Easter. So I had to get Easter basket stuffers because we do the Easter bunny around here. And I did purchase stuff for my kids. But now we get into the gray area. I purchased 2 separate courses for my business. And I just realized that I never set a plan for that. One was small, around $33, I think, and very much a quick action. The other one was much bigger, around $500. So I spent $533 on courses in March. But I didn't factor these into my beginning of the year no-buy plan because I was thinking of them as business expenses, thinking of them as my business is separate from my spending. And that's what made this month weird, because when I'm reflecting on it, I'm thinking, this is still my money. That is less take home I'm getting from my business because I'm spending it on these courses. And it's a gray area because that can be great. I love furthering education. I love figuring out how to do things better in my business. But I didn't have a plan for it. They weren't impulse buys. They were strategic because they are something that I feel like I need help with or I will benefit from. I hope, of course, that the bigger one pays off later once I work through the full course and implement the strategies. But again, it is still money leaving my account. And I think going forward, I want to include this business course furthering education in my no-buy planning. That's why I said at the beginning that March was more about realizing that I will justify spending if I don't clearly define the black and white areas of what stays and what goes. I have my contentment filter for personal life, and that's been working great. But now I'm faced with this reality that my business life is still my income, and it is still spending, and it can still be impulse buys. I know I pulled up multiple other courses and webinars and things that I could have spent money on. What if I had just justified them all? The sweatshirt was easy to categorize. The bag, easy to categorize, easy to explain. I'm not saying that learning is bad, but I'm saying it's not easy to categorize. And that's when we have to realistically look at what we're spending and say, was that worth it? Is that something that I need a plan around? So I think I've realized that a no-buy only works if we include these sneaky categories. Everybody knows what a necessity is. Gas, food, paying your mortgage so you still have a house. But outside of that, where are the sneaky categories of things that are easy to justify? And for me, it's education for my business. It's webinars and apps and back-end programs and systems that I think will help me. But then if I'm just constantly overloading myself with new courses and things to take in, I don't have enough time to fill every single day with watching a course. This is clearly a boundary that needs to be laid in Q2. I am in my soft season. I am being softer on myself and kinder with my goals. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad that I purchased these. I do believe I will use them, but I don't want my softness to turn into vagueness. I don't want it to turn into justification. In Q2, I have decided that I am allowed to buy one course, app, program, back-end thing, anything under that umbrella, one major business expense a month. Only if I have completed the one from the previous month. And I hope that this gives me a boundary where I can say, I really want that thing. I think it will help my business, but I need to put it on a list for later because at this moment, I'm still working on this other thing. That was my biggest takeaway from March, was that gray areas need rules too. And my second takeaway was that marketing is still slipping in, still sneaky, still influencing me. We've had a very hard month. It was a very overstimulating, overwhelming, mentally draining month. And marketing got through, even though February was going so much better. So this sweatshirt was a reminder that cravings for that are still existing inside me, and I still have to keep a close eye on it. And takeaway number 3, that my contentment filter works as long as they are still not impulsive buys, because everything can look useful. That sweatshirt can seem useful, but that's different than the bag, which is going to reduce the friction of what am I going to throw all my stuff into when I don't want to bring this big bag. I now have a designated bag for that. But that wasn't impulsive. That was seeing a shift in my life, and I was actively searching for something to fill that. Whereas the sweatshirt, I had that potential gap and I wasn't actively searching to fill it. But as soon as something came on the algorithm that filled that gap, I impulsively bought it. Convenience purchases that fill an actual need in my real life are not the same as a useful but impulsive purchase like the sweatshirt. All right, my camera died and I have to restart where I was. And remember, here we are, my Q2 shift. I'm not trying to be harsher with myself, but I do think I need to be clearer with myself. I completed Q1 feeling good. I made strides in no longer impulsively buying as much as I was. I didn't open Amazon to just scroll and look through my save for later list to purchase something because I was bored. So in Q2, I am still sticking to the no clothing spending, except for summer. When you finally see my decluttering half my wardrobe video, you will see that I pulled out my summer box and finally, for the first time, the first declutter, I am getting rid of all my size 6 shorts. They are shorts that I wore prior to being married and then no longer fit after having my daughter. I am now 2 kids later. My hips are not the same. So you will see I have a lot of dresses and I wear a lot of dresses for summer, but I probably need a few more shorts and things so that when I'm running around with the kids and going to the playground and all the things, I'm not wearing a dress. So I am allowing myself maybe 5 to 10 items max, because I also got rid of a bunch of my tank tops in this declutter. They were very old. Remember those like Old Navy swing tanks from, I don't know, 2015? So this rule 1 is the clothing rule will stay aside from a small summer budget. I also had to throw out one of my bathing suits at the end of last summer because the strap broke. It was also a maternity bathing suit, and I no longer need maternity bathing suits. Second, the business education course rule, which will be the overarching umbrella. As we mentioned, anything that's a business expense for further implementation, I can only get one a month as long as the previous month has been implemented. So for example, the $33 course, I know I can complete that and the outcome quickly, but that $500 course, I know be 2 months of me not buying anything. I'm not saying I have to buy something every month, but every month I have to look at the previous month and see if I have and if it's been implemented to completion before I can purchase something new. So the last rule is going to be a bit more broad than I had in Q1 because I feel like I'm doing better with impulse buys. I'm doing better with not needing a specific no buy category. Instead, I am saying, if I cannot name exactly when I'll use it, I cannot buy it. That, I think, will hold me in a space where I can put things on my Amazon save for later list. I have a separate Amazon wish list that's just for me called shopping. I can add things to that. But if I can't name exactly when I will, for example, wear something to a very specific event or use something very specifically, like I knew I was going to use the shampoo right away, then it has to go into a save for later list. Because March was a mix of unnecessary, necessary, and gray area spending, but I barely bought anything in the grand scheme of things. So I think in Q2, my mind is finally ready to move on to this is a no buy. Yes, there will be things that are necessities. There are lots more birthdays coming up, and there will be things that I will run through my contentment filter. But if I run it through that filter and also cannot put a name or a date on when exactly I will be using it, then it's not worth having right now. And I think that will help me better define the gray areas because it's putting more structure on that final thing. Because for me, the no buy rules are not meant to restrict me from getting things that I need or desire in a good way. They are to help me bring more awareness to my spending habits and to what I'm intentionally bringing into my life. That's really what March showed me. So thank you so much for being here in this update, and I'll see you in the next one.